In the tense hours leading into the height of World War II's Atlantic conflicts, German Naval Command held a resolute confidence in its coastal defenses and maritime dominance. Extensive networks of patrol vessels, radar arrays, and sonar detection systems formed a formidable barrier against conventional submarine threats. Yet, despite these sophisticated early warning systems and the meticulous coordination of naval assets, an unexpected menace began to manifest itself beneath the waves, an adversary so elusive that it defied all existing detection protocols. This phantom presence, later known among Allied intelligence as the Silent Corsair, operated under a veil of near-perfect stealth, exploiting the night's obscurity to devastating effect. Germany's naval leadership was caught off guard. Their reconnaissance reports failed to anticipate the silent approach under the cloak of darkness that would soon disrupt vital supply lines and sow discord within their maritime ranks. The Silent Corsair emerged not merely as a novel weapon but as a paradigm shift in naval engagement. Its operations were marked by a midnight approach, a tactical choice rooted in the exploitation of natural darkness and the limitations of contemporary night vision optics available to German forces. Unlike the conventional U-boats, which relied on speed and brute force, the Silent Corsair's strategy centered on invisibility and precision. It prowled the shadowed waters undetected, a ghostly silhouette that slipped through acoustic detection nets designed to alert commanders to enemy presence. This ability to remain unseen and unheard was not incidental but the product of a deliberate and highly advanced engineering process, reflecting a profound understanding of acoustic physics and naval architecture. Germany's naval doctrine, heavily reliant on sonar and radar sweeps, struggled to contend with this new threat. The Silent Corsair's acoustic signature was so faint that standard hydrophone arrays recorded only ambiguous noise readings, often dismissed as marine life or ambient oceanic disturbances. The tactical surprise was complete and devastating. Commanders on patrol vessels reported sudden loss of convoys and the disappearance of escort ships with no preceding alarms or engagements. Intelligence briefings, focused on conventional submarine activity and surface raiders, missed the emergence of this elusive threat entirely. The Silent Corsair's attacks were surgical, targeting key logistical arteries that kept German war efforts afloat. Supply convoys laden with fuel, munitions, and reinforcements vanished in the dead of night, leaving behind only confusion and the eerie silence of the sea. The psychological impact on German naval crews was profound. Sailors, trained to rely on the acoustic cues and visual confirmations of enemy presence, found themselves vulnerable to an invisible predator. Morale declined as rumors of the Silent Corsair's capabilities spread, a specter haunting the shadowed waters that no amount of vigilance seemed able to deter. Commanders faced mounting pressure to adapt their strategies, but the technological gap left them grasping at shadows. Efforts to increase patrol density and deploy additional sonar buoys yielded little improvement, as the Silent Corsair's stealth hull design and acoustic dampening technology rendered such measures ineffective. It was a tactical enigma, a new breed of maritime warfare that challenged the very foundations of German naval defense. This early phase of the Silent Corsair's campaign highlighted a critical vulnerability in German naval operations, an over-reliance on established detection methods and an underestimation of stealth technology's potential. The vessel's midnight approach was more than a mere operational detail, it was a manifestation of a broader strategic evolution that leveraged the cover of darkness to maximize surprise and minimize exposure. Night vision optics of the era, limited in range and resolution, failed to provide sufficient warning, while signal interception efforts were confounded by the Silent Corsair's minimal radio emissions and encrypted communication protocols. The enemy's ability to operate silently within the acoustic blind spots of German naval sensors created a persistent and unpredictable threat that conventional countermeasures could not effectively address. Behind this tactical innovation lay a complex interplay of technological ingenuity and rigorous training. The Silent Corsair's crew underwent extensive preparation to master silent propulsion systems and acoustic discipline, ensuring that every movement beneath the waves remained undetectable. Commanders emphasized the importance of patience and precision, instructing operators to exploit thermal layers and oceanic topography that further masked their presence from sonar detection. Reconnaissance missions preceding attacks were conducted with meticulous care, utilizing advanced night vision optics and signal interception techniques to identify high-value targets and optimal strike windows without revealing their own position. This combination of technology and tactical acumen allowed the Silent Corsair to execute operations that were as much psychological warfare as physical assault, eroding German confidence and complicating their defensive calculus. German Naval Command's initial underestimation of the Silent Corsair's threat delayed the development of effective countermeasures. Interception attempts were often reactive and poorly coordinated, hindered by a lack of accurate intelligence and the vessel's ability to vanish into the deep after each strike. Patrols increased their alert status, deploying additional convoy escorts and experimenting with new sonar frequencies, but these efforts were akin to searching for a shadow that constantly shifted shape and location. The Silent Corsair's silent propulsion system and stealth hull design were far ahead of contemporary detection capabilities, rendering traditional anti-submarine tactics obsolete. The result was a series of tactical setbacks for the German Navy, which struggled to maintain supply line integrity and safeguard vital maritime routes against an adversary that seemed to anticipate their every move. The operational environment of the North Atlantic, with its vast expanses and complex thermal layers, further favored the Silent Corsair's stealth tactics. The vessel's commanders exploited these environmental factors expertly, navigating beneath thermoclines that distorted sonar signals and provided natural acoustic barriers. Under the cover of darkness, the Silent Corsair approached convoys silently, using acoustic dampening technology to absorb and deflect sound waves that might otherwise betray its presence. German escorts, reliant on echo-ranging and active sonar pings, found themselves at a distinct disadvantage. Each attempt to illuminate the Silent Corsair's position risked revealing their own location, inviting counterattack or evasion. The tactical surprise achieved through these nocturnal maneuvers was complete, striking at the heart of German naval logistics with precision and impunity. Throughout this period, the Silent Corsair's successes underscored a broader shift in naval warfare, where technological innovation and stealth became paramount. Germany's inability to anticipate and counter this threat highlighted key deficiencies in their naval doctrine, particularly in adapting to rapidly evolving underwater technologies and tactics. The consequences extended beyond immediate losses. The psychological toll on crews and the strategic disruption of supply lines forced a reconsideration of naval priorities and resource allocations. Commanders grappled with uncertainty, caught between the demands of maintaining operational tempo and the imperative to develop new detection and engagement strategies that could neutralize the Silent Corsair's advantage. In these early engagements, the Silent Corsair was not merely a vessel but a harbinger of a new era in maritime conflict. Its midnight assaults illuminated the limitations of traditional naval defense and the critical importance of stealth and surprise. German Naval Command's initial failure to detect and counter this silent predator set the stage for a protracted struggle beneath the waves, one defined by technological races and tactical innovation. As the Silent Corsair continued its shadowed patrols, weaving through the darkness with near invisibility, it forced a redefinition of naval warfare's parameters, an evolution that would echo through subsequent decades of maritime strategy and submarine design. The Silent Corsair's formidable operational capabilities were rooted in a series of groundbreaking technological innovations that redefined the parameters of underwater stealth and propulsion. Unlike traditional submarines of the era, which relied heavily on noisy diesel engines and rudimentary electric motors, the Silent Corsair incorporated a revolutionary silent propulsion system that drastically reduced acoustic emissions to near undetectable levels. This advancement was achieved through the integration of state-of-the-art acoustic dampening technology and a novel propulsion mechanism designed to minimize cavitation and mechanical noise, two principal sources easily identified by conventional sonar arrays. The cumulative effect was a vessel that could glide through the shadowed waters with an eerie quietness, effectively nullifying the German Navy's existing sonar detection capabilities and leaving commanders scrambling for new methods of tracking and engagement. Central to the Silent Corsair's stealth was its advanced hull design, meticulously engineered to minimize hydrodynamic drag and acoustic signature. The hull's contours were shaped to deflect sonar pulses and reduce turbulence, while the application of groundbreaking sound-absorbing materials on the vessel's exterior further muffled any residual noise generated by water displacement. This stealth hull design not only enhanced the submarine's silent glide but also increased its operational endurance by improving energy efficiency. The combination of these physical and material innovations rendered the Silent Corsair a near-invisible predator beneath the waves, capable of infiltrating heavily guarded maritime zones without betraying its presence. Such engineering feats were the culmination of extensive research in naval architecture and acoustic science, reflecting a deliberate and secretive effort to outpace enemy detection technologies. The propulsion system itself represented a radical departure from established submarine engineering. Traditional diesel-electric submarines, while effective in their time, were hampered by the necessity of surfacing or snorkeling to recharge batteries, generating detectable noise and radio emissions. In contrast, the Silent Corsair employed a cutting-edge closed-cycle propulsion system that utilized a combination of electrochemical cells and a novel form of magneto-hydrodynamic drive. This configuration allowed for continuous submerged operation with near-silent thrust, eliminating the mechanical noise associated with propeller rotations and engine vibrations. The acoustic dampening technology extended beyond the propulsion system to encompass the vessel's internal machinery, including air compressors and control systems, all isolated within vibration-absorbing mounts to prevent sound transmission through the hull. These meticulous engineering solutions collectively ensured that the silent Corsair's acoustic footprint was reduced to a fraction of that produced by contemporary submarines. The integration of these technologies was accompanied by sophisticated onboard systems designed to further enhance stealth and operational effectiveness. Night vision optics, though limited by the era's technological constraints, were refined to provide enhanced visual acuity during nocturnal operations, allowing the silent Corsair's crew to navigate and identify targets without reliance on active illumination that could reveal their position. Signal interception capabilities were also advanced, enabling the vessel to monitor enemy communications and convoy movements covertly. This intelligence gathering was critical to the silent Corsair's tactical doctrine, permitting commanders to plan attacks with precision and avoid exposure. The fusion of these capabilities created a vessel that was not only physically undetectable but also tactically elusive, operating with a degree of autonomy and situational awareness that confounded German naval countermeasures. The development process behind the silent Corsair was shrouded in secrecy and marked by intense collaboration among engineers, scientists, and naval strategists. Drawing on advances in acoustic physics, materials science, and propulsion engineering, the design team pursued an integrated approach that balanced stealth, speed, and operational range. Prototypes underwent rigorous testing in controlled environments, including acoustic chambers and hydrodynamic tanks, where engineers meticulously refined hull shapes and dampening materials to achieve optimal noise reduction. Field trials in coastal waters simulated enemy detection scenarios, validating the silent propulsion system's effectiveness and informing tactical deployment strategies. The resulting vessel was a testament to the synergy between cutting-edge technology and innovative design philosophies, embodying a shift towards stealth as a primary factor in naval warfare rather than mere speed or firepower. Operationally, these technological innovations translated into a distinct tactical advantage for the silent Corsair's commanders. The ability to approach targets undetected during the midnight approach was supported by the vessel's near-silent movement and minimal sonar signature, allowing it to infiltrate convoy formations and patrol zones without triggering alarms. The stealth hull design enabled it to maneuver silently through thermoclines and underwater features that further masked its presence from passive sonar arrays. Acoustic dampening technology ensured that internal noises, often a giveaway in conventional submarines, were virtually eliminated, preventing detection by enemy hydrophones. Furthermore, the vessel's advanced night vision optics and signal interception systems provided commanders with real-time situational awareness, facilitating precise targeting decisions and evasive maneuvers when necessary. This confluence of technologies created a platform optimized for surprise and evasion, maximizing the effectiveness of each strike against German naval assets. The silent Corsair's technological edge also imposed significant challenges on German naval forces attempting to develop countermeasures. Traditional sonar systems, calibrated to detect the mechanical and hydrodynamic noises of standard submarines, found themselves overwhelmed by the silent Corsair's muted acoustic signature. Efforts to enhance sonar sensitivity were hampered by the increased ambient noise and oceanic conditions that masked subtle signals. Attempts to deploy active sonar pings risked disclosing the searcher's positions and were often met with immediate evasive action by the silent Corsair. The stealth hull design's ability to absorb and scatter sonar waves reduced the effectiveness of echo-ranging techniques, while the closed-cycle propulsion system eliminated the telltale exhaust noises common to earlier submarines. Consequently, German Naval Command was forced to reconsider detection paradigms, exploring alternative sensor technologies and tactical doctrines, though initial responses were slow and often ineffective. In parallel, the silent Corsair's signature acoustic dampening technology served as a model for subsequent submarine engineering efforts beyond the immediate conflict. The strategic value of minimizing acoustic emissions became widely recognized, influencing the design of post-war submarines and anti-submarine warfare systems alike. The integration of sound-absorbing materials, vibration isolation, and silent propulsion mechanisms set new standards for underwater stealth, underscoring the tactical advantages conferred by such innovations. These principles would later be incorporated into advances in submarine hull coatings, propulsion drives, and internal machinery configurations, shaping the evolution of naval warfare for decades to come. The silent Corsair thus stood not only as a tactical weapon during the war but also as a technological pioneer that redefined the possibilities of stealth beneath the waves. In summary, the silent Corsair was the product of a carefully orchestrated blend of technological breakthroughs and engineering mastery. Its silent propulsion system, acoustic dampening technology, and stealth hull design coalesced into a vessel that exploited the vulnerabilities of existing detection methods, enabling it to operate with unprecedented secrecy and effectiveness. The integration of enhanced night vision optics and signal interception further amplified its tactical capabilities, allowing for precise, coordinated strikes during the cover of darkness. These innovations created a formidable challenge for the German Navy, whose traditional anti-submarine warfare tools and doctrines were rendered obsolete in the face of this silent predator. The silent Corsair's technological superiority was both a strategic asset and a harbinger of the evolving nature of naval conflict, emphasizing stealth and surprise as essential components of maritime dominance. Building upon its unprecedented technological innovations, the silent Corsair's operational deployment marked a new chapter in underwater warfare, characterized by meticulous tactical adaptation and a relentless pursuit of stealth and precision. Primarily assigned to the vast expanse of the Atlantic theater, this vessel operated under a doctrine that emphasized the exploitation of the darkest hours and the exploitation of enemy overconfidence. Commanders and crew underwent rigorous training regimens focused on silent running, evasion, and precision strike capabilities, honing their skills to operate within the narrow margins that separated detection from destruction. The tactical advantage conferred by the silent Corsair's engineering was thus amplified through disciplined operational procedures designed to maximize its disruptive potential against German naval forces. The silent Corsair's deployment pattern centered on nocturnal operations, leveraging the cover of night to minimize visual detection and exploit the limitations of contemporary night vision optics possessed by German patrols. These midnight approaches were executed with surgical precision, as crews used advanced navigation and targeting systems to infiltrate convoy escort perimeters and identify high-value targets. The vessel's stealth hull design and silent propulsion system allowed it to slip through acoustic detection nets undetected, enabling it to position itself optimally before initiating attacks. Precision was paramount. The crew prioritized eliminating key logistical elements such as fuel tankers, ammunition transports, and command vessels, thereby inflicting disproportionate damage on supply lines critical to the German war effort. This approach minimized prolonged engagements, reducing exposure and enhancing survivability. Training for the silent Corsair's crew reflected the vessel's unique operational demands. Operators were drilled extensively in acoustic discipline, ensuring all on-board activities generated minimal noise. This included strict protocols for machinery use, communication, and movement within the submarine. Commanders emphasized patience and timing, instructing crews to exploit thermal layers and underwater topography that could shield them from sonar detection or distort enemy sensor readings. Tactical simulations incorporated scenarios involving convoy interception, evasion from depth charge attacks, and rapid withdrawal under cover of darkness. The integration of advanced night vision optics and signal interception technology necessitated operators capable of interpreting complex data streams and making real-time decisions to adapt to fluid combat situations. This combination of technical proficiency and tactical discipline rendered the silent Corsair a formidable adversary capable of operating autonomously and decisively. German naval forces found themselves increasingly challenged by the silent Corsair's operational effectiveness. Traditional escort tactics, predicated on the detection of noise and visual confirmation, were insufficient when faced with an adversary capable of silent infiltration. Convoy formations were forced to adapt, increasing escort numbers and altering routes in an attempt to mitigate risk. However, these measures often proved reactive rather than proactive, as the silent Corsair's signal interception capabilities allowed it to anticipate changes and adjust its approach accordingly. The German Navy's attempts to deploy additional sonar buoys and increase active sonar usage were met with limited success. The silent Corsair's stealth hull design and acoustic dampening technology consistently reduced the effectiveness of these detection efforts. As a result, German patrols reported a growing number of unexplained losses and near misses, contributing to a climate of uncertainty and heightened alertness. Operational reports from the Atlantic theater underscore the silent Corsair's impact on German naval logistics. Supply convoys, once regarded as relatively secure under escort protection, became vulnerable targets for precision strikes that disrupted the flow of essential materials. The sudden disappearance of fuel and ammunition shipments during midnight hours eroded the operational capacity of German forces, forcing command to divert resources toward protective measures rather than offensive operations. German commanders documented instances where entire convoys were scattered or rerouted following silent Corsair attacks, reflecting the strategic disruption caused by this stealthy menace. The psychological effect on German sailors was equally significant. The knowledge of an undetectable predator lurking beneath the waves instilled a pervasive sense of vulnerability that undermined morale and operational confidence. The silent corsairs' tactical doctrine emphasized evasion and survival as much as attack. After executing precision strikes, the vessel employed rapid withdrawal techniques, utilizing its silent propulsion system and stealth hull design to disappear into the ocean's depths before countermeasures could be effectively deployed. Commanders trained their crews to exploit environmental factors, such as underwater thermoclines and complex seabed topography, to obscure their escape routes from sonar detection. This tactical flexibility ensured that the silent corsair could sustain prolonged operational periods within contested waters, striking repeatedly while minimizing exposure to depth charges and escort counterattacks. German efforts to track and engage the vessel were complicated by its ability to operate silently within acoustic blind spots, compelling a re-evaluation of anti-submarine warfare tactics that lagged behind the silent corsair's evolving operational methodology. The integration of signal interception systems further enhanced the silent corsair's tactical adaptability. By covertly monitoring German naval communications, the vessel's commanders could anticipate convoy movements, escort deployments, and patrol patterns with remarkable accuracy. This intelligence allowed for the selection of optimal strike windows and facilitated evasive maneuvers during withdrawal phases. The ability to anticipate enemy responses and adapt tactics accordingly was a force multiplier, enabling the silent corsair to remain one step ahead of German countermeasures. It also contributed to the broader strategic impact of the vessel's operations, as German naval command struggled to maintain situational awareness in the face of this stealthy adversary. Throughout its operational deployment, the silent corsair exemplified the synthesis of technological innovation and tactical evolution. Its silent propulsion system, acoustic dampening technology, stealth hull design, advanced night vision optics, and signal interception capabilities were not isolated features but components of an integrated operational concept. Commanders and crews leveraged these assets to execute surprise attacks that disrupted German maritime logistics and challenged traditional naval doctrines. The vessel's ability to operate autonomously, adapt to changing battlefield conditions, and exploit enemy vulnerabilities underscored the importance of stealth and precision in modern naval warfare. German naval forces, despite their efforts to adapt, found themselves consistently outmatched in this new domain, compelled to reconsider their defensive strategies in light of the silent corsair's formidable capabilities. The tactical lessons gleaned from the silent corsair's deployment resonated beyond the immediate conflict. Its emphasis on stealth, intelligence gathering, and precision strikes foreshadowed broader shifts in submarine warfare and naval strategy. The vessel's operations highlighted the limitations of conventional detection methods and the necessity for continuous innovation in anti-submarine technologies and tactics. For German naval command, the silent corsair was a catalyst for change, exposing vulnerabilities and prompting the development of more sophisticated countermeasures, though often too late to prevent significant operational setbacks. The vessel's success thus represented both a tactical triumph and a strategic challenge, reshaping the maritime battlefield and influencing the trajectory of naval warfare for years to come. In sum, the silent corsair's operational deployment and tactical adaptation constituted a decisive evolution in underwater combat. Through disciplined training, advanced technological integration, and a strategic focus on stealth and precision, it achieved a level of effectiveness that disrupted German naval operations and forced a re-evaluation of established doctrines. The vessel's ability to conduct surprise attacks during the darkest hours, evade detection, and exploit enemy weaknesses underscored the transformative power of combining cutting-edge technology with rigorous tactical planning. As the silent corsair continued its shadowed patrols across the Atlantic theater, it embodied the new reality of naval warfare, one where silence and subtlety proved mightier than brute force and where the unseen hand could alter the course of conflict beneath the waves. The operational impact of the silent corsair on German naval operations was both immediate and profound, shaking the very foundations of maritime logistics and strategic planning. The sudden and unanticipated nature of its attacks forced a comprehensive re-evaluation of naval strategies within the Kriegsmarine, as supply routes once deemed secure became perilous gauntlets vulnerable to precise nocturnal strikes. The disruption inflicted upon German maritime logistics was severe. Convoys vanished without warning, critical supplies failed to reach their destinations, and the cumulative losses began to erode operational capabilities across multiple theaters. The tactical surprise achieved by the silent corsair exposed glaring deficiencies in detection and escort methodologies, compelling German command to confront an enemy that operated beyond the reach of conventional countermeasures. The vulnerability of German supply lines became starkly apparent as the silent corsairs' midnight assaults targeted high-value shipments with ruthless efficiency. Fuel tankers, ammunition transports, and troop convoys, essential for sustaining frontline operations, were systematically preyed upon, creating cascading logistical challenges. The loss of fuel reserves, in particular, hindered the mobility of surface fleets and armored divisions alike, while the destruction of ammunition stores compromised both defensive and offensive capabilities. German Naval Command grappled with the reality that their carefully orchestrated convoy systems, once considered a bulwark against submarine threats, were insufficiently protected against a stealth adversary that could strike silently and vanish without trace. The resultant disruption necessitated a shift in strategic priorities, diverting resources toward convoy defense and anti-submarine warfare development at the expense of broader operational objectives. Morale among German sailors and convoy personnel suffered under the persistent threat of an invisible predator lurking beneath the waves. Reports from escort commanders reveal a pervasive sense of unease and frustration, as traditional detection techniques failed to provide timely alerts or actionable intelligence. The psychological toll of facing a foe that could evade sonar detection and strike with impunity undermined confidence and heightened stress levels within crews tasked with safeguarding vital shipments. This erosion of morale had tangible operational consequences, impacting crew readiness and decision-making under pressure. The knowledge that the silent corsair prowled the shadowed waters instilled a constant tension, compelling German naval forces to operate in a heightened state of alert that was difficult to sustain over extended periods. In response to these challenges, German Naval Command initiated a series of efforts aimed at mitigating the silent corsair's disruptive influence. Development of new detection technologies became a priority, with research focusing on enhancing sonar sensitivity and exploring alternative sensor modalities capable of penetrating the acoustic dampening technologies employed by the silent corsair. Experimental sonar arrays, incorporating variable frequency emissions and advanced signal processing algorithms, were deployed in an attempt to detect the vessel's faint acoustic signature. Concurrently, convoy tactics underwent modification, escort formations were reorganized to increase coverage density, and routing strategies were diversified to reduce predictability. Additional patrol vessels and aircraft were assigned to convoy protection duties, aiming to create overlapping fields of detection and response. Despite these efforts, early countermeasures met with limited success, as the silent corsair's technological advantages and tactical adaptability consistently outpaced German innovations. The operational adjustments extended beyond immediate defensive measures, prompting a broader strategic reassessment within the Kriegsmarine. Commanders recognized that the silent corsair's effectiveness was not merely a function of technological superiority but also a product of innovative tactics that exploited the limitations of existing naval doctrines. This realization spurred initiatives to integrate stealth considerations into submarine and surface fleet design, as well as the development of new training programs emphasizing acoustic discipline and electronic warfare. However, these institutional changes required time to implement and mature, leaving German naval forces vulnerable during the critical period of the silent corsair's initial campaign. The cumulative effect of disrupted supply lines, declining morale, and reactive countermeasures contributed to a gradual but decisive shift in the balance of maritime power in the Atlantic. Operational reports from the field underscore the scale and persistence of the silent corsair's impact. Convoy commanders documented multiple instances where vessels were lost without warning, often with no preceding sonar contacts or visual detections. Escort logs reveal frantic depth charge deployments following attacks, frequently targeting phantom contacts or empty oceanic sectors, highlighting the frustration and uncertainty engendered by the silent corsair's stealth. Intelligence briefings noted the vessel's ability to evade pursuit and counterattack, disappearing into acoustic blind spots and exploiting environmental factors such as thermoclines and seabed topography. These challenges undermined German confidence in their ability to secure maritime supply routes and maintain operational tempo, compelling a reconsideration of risk assessments and resource allocation across naval theaters. The strategic consequences of these operational disruptions extended beyond immediate tactical losses. The inability to reliably protect supply convoys constrained German operational planning, forcing limitations on offensive actions and reinforcing defensive postures. Logistical bottlenecks delayed troop deployments, resupply efforts, and maintenance operations, creating vulnerabilities that Allied forces could exploit. The silent corsairs campaign effectively imposed a maritime interdiction that degraded German warfighting capacity over time, contributing to the broader Allied objective of undermining Axis control of the seas. This shift in maritime dominance was not solely attributable to material destruction but also to the psychological and strategic pressure exerted by a stealth adversary that challenged traditional notions of naval security. In the face of these challenges, German Naval Command intensified efforts to integrate intelligence and technological innovation, seeking to close the gap exposed by the silent Corsairs' midnight assaults. Research into signal interception and electronic countermeasures aimed to disrupt the vessel's covert communications and reconnaissance capabilities. Enhanced training programs sought to improve crew responsiveness and adaptability in the presence of stealth threats. While incremental improvements were achieved, the early phase of the silent Corsairs' operations had already inflicted significant damage, setting a precedent for the necessity of continuous innovation in anti-submarine warfare. The vessel's ability to operate undetected and strike with precision underscored the evolving nature of naval conflict, where technological and tactical agility became paramount to survival and success. Ultimately, the silent Corsairs' impact on German naval operations was multifaceted, encompassing material losses, strategic disruption, and psychological strain. Its ability to exploit gaps in detection systems and convoy defenses exposed fundamental vulnerabilities in German maritime doctrine and force structure. The resultant adaptations, while significant, were reactive and often insufficient to fully counter the stealth and precision that defined the silent Corsairs campaign. As German Naval Command grappled with these challenges, the broader strategic landscape shifted, with the Allies gaining increasing control over vital sea lanes and the initiative in maritime warfare. The silent Corsairs' midnight assaults thus represented a critical inflection point, demonstrating the decisive role of stealth technology and surprise in shaping the outcome of naval conflicts during World War II. The operational success of the silent Corsair not only inflicted immediate tactical setbacks upon German naval forces but also catalyzed a profound transformation in naval warfare doctrine and submarine design that extended well beyond the conflict's conclusion. Its relentless midnight assaults underscored the paramount importance of stealth and surprise as decisive factors in maritime engagements, compelling a re-evaluation of existing naval paradigms and accelerating the integration of advanced technological innovations into submarine development worldwide. The legacy of the silent Corsair thus became a cornerstone in the evolution of underwater warfare, influencing post-war naval strategy and shaping the future trajectory of submarine capabilities. Germany's failure to anticipate and counter the silent Corsair revealed critical vulnerabilities within its naval doctrine, particularly an over-reliance on traditional detection systems and a reluctance to adapt rapidly to emerging stealth technologies. This shortfall exposed the limitations of sonar and radar-based surveillance in detecting vessels equipped with advanced acoustic dampening technology and silent propulsion systems. The resultant operational disruptions highlighted a strategic blind spot that undermined Germany's maritime control and underscored the imperative for innovation in anti-submarine warfare. The silent Corsair's ability to operate undetected within heavily patrolled zones challenged the foundational assumptions of naval defense and forced a reconsideration of tactical and technological priorities within the Kriegsmarine and, by extension, other naval powers observing these developments. The broader strategic consequences of the silent Corsairs campaign were significant. By systematically undermining German control of critical supply routes, the vessel contributed directly to the weakening of Axis operational capabilities, facilitating Allied advances across multiple theaters. Its effectiveness demonstrated that mastery of the underwater domain required more than brute force or numerical superiority. It demanded a synthesis of cutting-edge engineering, tactical ingenuity, and intelligence exploitation. The silent Corsair's success affirmed the strategic value of stealth as a force multiplier, capable of amplifying the impact of limited assets through surprise and precision. This lesson resonated deeply within naval circles, influencing post-war submarine doctrines that emphasized silent operation, advanced sensor integration, and electronic warfare capabilities. In the post-war era, the principles embodied by the silent Corsair found expression in the design and deployment of new classes of submarines that prioritized acoustic stealth and operational autonomy. Navies worldwide incorporated sound-absorbing hull materials, vibration isolation systems, and closed-cycle propulsion technologies reminiscent of those pioneered by the silent Corsair. These advancements enabled submerged vessels to operate with minimal detection risk, fundamentally altering the calculus of naval engagements. The tactical doctrines developed to exploit these capabilities emphasized covert intelligence gathering, surprise attacks, and evasion, tenets that have been demonstrated with devastating effect by the silent Corsair during its wartime operations. Consequently, the vessel's influence extended beyond immediate tactical successes, shaping the evolution of submarine warfare into the modern era. Moreover, the Silent Corsairs campaign underscored the necessity for continuous innovation in anti-submarine warfare strategies and technologies. The challenges faced by German naval forces encountering a stealth adversary precipitated extensive research into advanced sonar systems, electronic signal interception, and coordinated multi-platform defense networks. The recognition that traditional detection methods were insufficient against vessels equipped with acoustic dampening and silent propulsion spurred the development of active and passive sonar arrays with enhanced sensitivity and signal processing capabilities. Electronic warfare techniques aimed at disrupting enemy communications and sensor systems became integral components of naval defense strategies. These post-war developments reflected a direct response to the operational lessons imparted by the Silent Corsairs' midnight assaults, highlighting the dynamic interplay between offensive innovation and defensive adaptation in maritime conflict. The tactical doctrine of the Silent Corsair, emphasizing stealth, precision, and intelligence-driven operations, also influenced broader military thought regarding the integration of technology and tactics. Its successful exploitation of environmental factors, such as thermal layers and seabed topography, demonstrated the importance of understanding and leveraging the operational environment to maximize combat effectiveness. The vessel's use of advanced night vision optics and signal interception to coordinate attacks without revealing its position exemplified a holistic approach to warfare that combined technological sophistication with strategic foresight. These principles informed subsequent developments in naval training, operational planning, and the design of command and control systems, underscoring the enduring relevance of the Silent Corsairs' innovations. In reflecting upon the Silent Corsairs' legacy, it is evident that its midnight assaults represented more than isolated tactical victories, they constituted a transformative moment in naval history. The vessel's ability to penetrate heavily defended maritime zones and disrupt enemy logistics with near impunity illuminated the shifting nature of naval power, where stealth and technological superiority supplanted traditional measures of strength. German Naval Command's failure to anticipate and counter this threat highlighted the risks inherent in complacency and underscored the critical importance of adaptability in the face of evolving warfare paradigms. The Silent Corsairs' success served as a catalyst for change, accelerating the development of stealth technologies and influencing naval doctrine for decades to follow. Ultimately, the Silent Corsairs' contribution to the Allied victory extended beyond its direct operational impact. By undermining German control of the seas and compelling a strategic reassessment of naval defense, it helped to shape the maritime battlefield in favor of the Allies. Its innovations in silent propulsion, acoustic dampening, and tactical execution set new standards for submarine warfare, heralding an era in which the invisible hand beneath the waves could dictate the outcome of conflicts. The vessel's enduring influence is reflected in the continuous pursuit of stealth and surprise that remains central to naval strategy today, affirming the Silent Corsair as a pivotal figure in the evolution of underwater combat and a testament to the transformative power of technological and tactical innovation.